All right, welcome back. So now it's time to go on to the second panel, which is going to be this details panel. Okay, there's a lot of fun, but before that, I just want to show you a couple of things. First is that you remember that when we are editing when we are inside those panels, like we were inside the tuning panel, on the right, we got that window or that little icon by which we could press it and we could see before and after. But you can do that here also when that icon is not available, when you're outside the panels. If you just long press the image with your finger and release it, you'll be able to see the before and after. You can see this is what the tuning panel did for us. Okay, that's one thing. The second thing I want to show you is how to undo something or how to delete an effect. Okay, because this is going to be very important, especially later on. On the right side, remember, this was the settings, and then there's this little eye here, which just is going to show you the name and the details of the image. And on the leftmost, you see this little icon with the arrow. Okay, so if I click on this, you can see that this presents to us a couple of options. The first is undo. So if I click on this, it'll just undo the effect of whatever we did with the tuning panel. Okay, I can also click on redo. Okay, we can also click on revert, which will just take us absolutely back to the original, no matter how many panels we have used. Okay, but the most important part here is this option which says view edits. Okay, this is where you get complete control of removing something. It's totally done manually. So if I click on this, right now you'll see that it actually shows to us that yes, here's the original. Then in a layer-wise format, it starts to pile up whatever editing we do. So we've used the tune image panel, and if I click on this little arrow, it presents to us different options here. So I can click on the tune image option and it'll take me back to the tune image panel, which is the rightmost option. Then don't worry about the option in the middle with the pen right now. We will talk about this later because this is going to be very important. Right now, I just want to tell you that if you want to delete this effect, I can press the delete recycle bin looking icon also, and that will just delete the effect, and then we'll only have the original layer. Okay, so just wanted to kind of show you this. We can press the back button on the left to just go back, and then this time let's select the next panel which we're going to talk about, which is details, which is pretty straightforward. Okay, now what is happening here in the details panel is that we can basically sharpen things. Okay, so here, what are the options first of all? So if I move my finger, remember vertically it shows us the different options, or I can click on that little icon down below, but I like to use the finger just to move up and down, and you can see. So we basically just have two options. One is called structure, one is called sharpening. Now what is the difference here? Okay, they have a very significant difference, which you're going to see in this image. Structure, when I increase it, the value of it, it's basically, think of it like this. It's going to sharpen the image, but it's going to sharpen it in such a way that the big parts stand out more. Okay, the best way to just explain you is to just do it. So let me just increase this. So I'm moving my finger horizontally now. Now you must have got used to this. So you can see here, it kind of really gives details to this image, but it is kind of working on the bigger chunks in the photo, not very fine details. You see those cloud structures, they just become more prominent. Those big structures start to stand out more. Now this is great for this image, right? That's probably, you can add some drama to it by just increasing the structure like this. Kind of makes it pop out more, right? But later on when we edit different other kind of images, it might also be more important to actually zoom into something, okay, and work very, on very fine details, on very small details. Like structure is working on something big chunks in the photo. But if I select sharpening, then just see what happens. If I increase sharpening, you probably won't see too much of an effect right now. Can you see? Okay, and sometimes, as you can see in this, some values don't have a negative value. So you can only either take them to 0 or you can increase it. So in this case, the bar actually starts from the leftmost, and that makes sense in this case, in sharpening. Okay, now you really can't see too much of a difference. That's because very fine details are being worked with the sharpening. It's not like structure where those big chunks are working. And how we can see what sharpening is doing is by actually zooming in this photo. Let's see some very small part where we can see the details. Okay, like something like this door. Now if I increase it, just keep an eye. It's still going to be slightly subtle, but just keep an eye. Can you see? Boom. Just sharpens those fine little details and is getting that even that fine texture out. Okay. Now what you have to remember is you have to be a bit careful with this, because this also slightly starts to add those bad looking artifacts, those noise like artifacts in our photo if you sharpen too much. So for example, if I go all the way, okay, just keep an eye on something like, let me really zoom in so that you can see, like on these trees, can you see we're starting to get that little grainy look? Just imagine this is what we started off with, and this just doesn't look too good, right? So later on, I'll be showing you when it's required how to do this the correct way. But in such an image, we don't need such detailed sharpening. The overall structure, what it did was absolutely fine. So this is about the details panel. Let's see the next panel now. So I'm just going to click on, every time you're done, just click on this check mark. And now we're going to move on to the next part.